Hello, Parvati. Good morning. Oh no, I haven't. I haven't yet. But I'm planning to do it like today. Is it good? I love to this. I don't know how the other people feel, but I loved it, and the MV was really nice. Like I loved it. I actually before coming here, I was watching um the group's reaction to their MV. So it was very nice. Hi, Spirit. Yes, yes. I actually slept like when you sleep very sound, like when you don't wake up at all. But I thought that I was going to like wake up like late, like not my usual time, but actually I did, and I did recover. Uh, I was really tired. I was really tired yesterday um, because of my shift, and also the day before, Friday night, I had an event. I worked also the day, so it was like, and I started yesterday at the very early hours as well. So I was really tired. I barely had any energy left, but I did the live anyway. So I was thinking about doing this, this also very brief, like a sort of part two of the live, but to talk about Virgo idols. I don't know if you have any favorite Virgo idol, because I think that it's actually interesting um, to see. um, the Virgo energy and being an idol. I think that it's not a coincidence that actually a lot of idols have are Virgo, or they do have like strong Virgo placements, especially Moon, Venus, Mars. So there's a lot to say about being an idol and the Virgo energy. So I was thinking we can talk about this. And actually, I'm going to get my astrological cards because I want to show you something. So I'll be right back. Yes, it is a spirit. Hello, Muffy and Fluffy. Did you hear? Oh, I've been completely jam packed these few weeks. Even I missed the lives. Did you hear the news that SM is terminating Lee Suman's producer contract? Oh, well, I actually don't know what they would mean, but I did see the news. Yeah, probably they are trying to change a few things, or I don't know. There's something about SM that when they say that they are terminating things, actually I see that there's a lot of energy of refusing to change. Like, there's something about SM energy that for me is like they promote this sort of visionary, creativity, futuristic ideas, but I see no depths in that, no deepness in that concept. Or I think that it's not a company that wants to. There are certain things that they do not want to transform. So it's a bit curious and ironic how they want to promote futuristic, and they always add like sort of futuristic elements, but when it comes to them as group of people or group of leaders or group of, I don't know, like ambassadors or the human side, I think that there are people that just prefer things to stay the way. If they have a system, they're going to follow that system all the time. Like even when they introduce new people, it's, yes, it's new people, new energies, new ways, but at in the bottom of everything, it's to somehow feel the same concept, or there's like a standard there. There's something that they keep repeating and repeating, and I think that it also shows that there's a sort of resistance to really change, like not to change in like change locations or change way. It's more that they don't want to change themselves in a deeper meaning, in a deeper level. Yes, I got my first job this week, so that too. Oh, congratulations, Spirit. Yes, yes, you're going to do amazing. I'm happy for you. Apparently, the dude gets paid for producing music. He probably owns a company like Planning. He got 100 million USD royalty fees. The interesting part is Lee Suman's nephew is the CEO. Yeah, it's like it seems like I think that SM is the kind of company that I don't know why, but they manage to stay the same, like in a sense of who is in power, who receives the money, like who receives the good stuff. They keep that system because it's been working for so long for them. But with all the other groups and companies, now there's new competition. Yes, and also, you know why? Because there's this new era of the very small companies making it. So I think that they get a lot more of people's sympathy and empathy, because you do get more attached to a group that probably is like, oh yes, we worked really hard, we had no privilege, we had no support system, we had no money, so yes, we are where we are because of the the passion, intensity, and the willpower to make it work. So somehow, people are always going to be supportive of those kinds of people and of that kind of a story, because it's more inspiring. It's more inspiring. It touches your heart, your sensitivity when you support a group that came out of nothing, like, well, where they and I think that in that sense it's also a bit unfair to the SM idols or artists, because they do not have it easy. It's not because they sign with SM and all of a sudden they get the dreams come true and everything is handed to them because they are SM trainees or idols. I think that there's also like a lot of like judgment when it comes to, and I think that it affects the artist the most, that, oh, because they are from SM, I'm sure they have it all. I'm sure everything is fancy. I'm sure everything is taken care of. And actually, the idols, they just work as hard as any kind of compared to other idols of small companies. Like the effort of the person, of the professional, of the artist is the same. It's just that yes, it changes. um it changes what they have available, resources. SM likes to make really like visually entertaining and very prosperous kind of MVs. So definitely they are pioneers in that sense. YG as well. They do love to dress their artists with very fashionable items, like clothing, like brands and stuff, very luxurious. And probably if you watch the MVs of like groups that come out of small companies, they do manage, at least the first years, they do manage to maybe borrow some clothing, some scenario, someone's car, they make it with the little bit. But that's, at the end of the day, that's what makes them more creative, actually, because when you are in a situation where you do not have much available, you do find the way to making it. So it does like fit your own creativity. This is why when I read for ATs, they all got cards of lacking something, whether it's emotional, it's something that has to do with money and resources. This doesn't mean that they are poor or that they do will not have what they want. Actually, they will get the success and the recognition that the growth that they inspire, that they aspire so much to grow. They will get there. It's just that when you do not have everything available, it seems tougher. But it's making them. This is preparing them for a better, for to be better. To be a better version. I hope that the idols are getting paid. They better give them fair pay. YG pays their artists 60% and rest 40%. Yeah. Yes, Spirit. If someone works at SM, I actually become more worried for them, lol. But the opportunities are bigger. There's no denying that privilege. Yes, actually, I do fear for SM artists. Especially, I do worry about them and I hope that they don't get like mental health issues, because I'm sure the pressure it's tough. And um I don't know, I just hope they have the right people around them, like family, friends, relationships, who knows. But because yeah, that place is a circus, and I don't think that that company really worries about their artist's mental health or that they are okay. They put them under a lot of pressure, and also they must have this sort of a speech that it gets stuck in your head that you somehow are part of one of the biggest companies. So you have to make it, so you have to endure it, you have to do your job, you have to be professional, you don't have to like get sick, nor you have to be a machine. And yeah, I mean, Espa got to become luxury brand ambassador so soon after debut. How many groups can claim that? Yes, you're right about having a support system. As I already said, the company is not your family. No, It's not your family. Actually, I think that honestly, if the people in SM, the artists in SM, if they do form bonds and if they do get attached to each other and if they do form a friendship, it's because of their own ability and their own social skills, or their own need to have a friend or to form a bond with a fellow idol, or with a member of your group. That's something that is up to them. That's not SM's influence. Just because you put them on the same building, they have to be family or they have to be friends. This is something that probably a lot of fans do force themselves to believe, that just because you are part of um, like a retail or a building, because you are working there, you're supposed to be friends. And no, the bonds, the relationships, the the loyalties, everything, it has to do with you putting the effort to make that relationship work. And sometimes when these people are so full of things to do and things they want to achieve, personal goals, and always been busy and always been training, do you think they have the time to be like, oh, I'm going to go and mingle with these people? Like, it's not like a party 24/7. They often are practicing and working and talking about work. So I think that if some people in there are friends, it's because they put the work and the intention to create a bond, and it's not like I don't know what this guy's name, I don't remember. It's not this CEO's influence. I saw SM stans recently attack Key for saying SM is not a family. Yeah, interesting news is reported on Billboard. New streaming royalty rates for some writers and publishers. Keys always say it like it is. I remember Shiny members once saying that they were colleagues before anything else. Yes, and I'm sure that the fans get really like conflicted about that, because I think that since we are talking about Key, I think that we should talk about Virgo. We should talk about Virgo also being very rational about things, and that if you have a Virgo friend, probably it's not going to be the most comfortable and lovey-dovey and supportive relationship you will ever have, because they are not people's pleasers, in the sense that they tell you the things like it is, like the way they perceive it, the way they see it. And even if they love you, they are going to be critical with you. They are going to be very rational and a bit cold and a bit like harsh with you, because they love you. So we should appreciate. Didn't Keith say recently that his views on the MV were disregarded and he cried out of frustration on the shooting set? Billboards finally figuring out K-pop fan mass buying and using bots. Yeah, exactly. Did he? That's a shame. His MV was amazing though. Can I say something controversial? I don't think it's fair to say two idols are close just because they are in the same company. If anything, the chances of them not getting along are more. Yeah, yeah. Especially, when it has happened to me, especially when I see a group of not so many members, like for example, five, 6 or 7 members, eight, that if you are observing their body language and not analyzing it to like the way that some fans do in a very creepy way where they add slow motions of things. But since I know a lot about body language, there are some members that actually are very uncomfortable around each other and you can see it, like their posture, the faces they make when someone is talking. You definitely like sense that there are some pairs, some, I wouldn't say like all the groups, but there are especially some pairs where I don't know if they had an argument that date or if they had like a fallout or if they argue about something, but you can sense in their body language that they are not liking each other. So I always like, I am really like, I always laugh to myself because I'm like, people do not see this, but they do see, the fans do see what they want to see. So when they see this sort of like flirty, flirtatious moments among the members, in those moments they do a zoom in, they do these edits, they do this slow motion with their captions about what they think is going on. But when the evidence is right in front of their eyes, that there are some that it seems like they just cannot stand being next to each other. And I'm not saying like it's every day, because I think that it could be that day, that moment in particular. But I have observed a few when you can definitely tell with their body language that they don't want to be next to each other. I think I saw SM cut the part of Kids Live where he said his concept is not part of Kwanya. That too. Yes, let's not forget the part where they edit the lives. Because if you think that, I don't know, that some lives or some parts are like, that they are like, they just were recorded like that, and you know, there's no edit in there. Yes, workplace gossip exists. Uh-huh. Especially if you have, I would watch out, especially of the air placement people, for example, Aquariuses, Geminis. Moon in Geminis, especially, I wouldn't tell a thing to a moon in Gemini. I would talk about very superficial things, you know, I would make funny jokes, I would laugh at their jokes because they are hilarious, they are very entertaining, but I wouldn't tell them something intimate about myself. If, and I do this also with my coworkers or with people that I encounter that I know that they have a moon in Gemini or that they have a moon in Aquarius. I'm like, let's talk about superficial level things. I'm not going to tell you about myself, or I'm not going to tell you actually how I really feel about certain things, because I know that everyone is going to find out and I don't want to. Yeah, you can tell chicks are dead in real life when you try to avoid someone at all cost. Yes. I just want to know, is Guanya really that important? I have no idea, Spirit. I guess it's important. Who invented Guanya? Speaking of idols getting along, do you plan on doing friendship series again? Yes, I should, Fluffy. I should start. Yes, I should start. Hello, Kurami. Yeah, especially in big companies like SM. I think in small company everybody knows everybody, so the chances of gossip are less. Yeah, but they do have like, you have to imagine that these people are all about work. So obviously their amusement or their entertaining, the like the juicy part of meeting others even if they're from the same company, is gossiping. So, Oh yes, I did, Kuromi. I did hear. Someone shared a post. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I cannot wait to see Eric again. I'm so excited. Please, if someone sees like gets an image, something, I want. Please share it with me in on my disc on our Discord chat, please. I'm so happy. I'm so happy, guys. Like you cannot tell. It had been a really emotional period for us, the boys fans. Yeah, yeah, Kuromi, me too. Me too. Me too. Like really, I was fearing for the group, honestly, because I got really suspicious all of a sudden. I have a few lives where I rant a lot about this. I wasn't really happy with this. I wanted to know what's going on. And well, now we have good news. So let's celebrate, guys. Let's celebrate because I'm sure that it has to do with some decisions and some modifications that had to be made in order to get Eric back and also Sonu. But I'm glad the company is like visualizing this and also working on this. Um I did see, when I read for the boys, actually I did see that there was going to be like a new beginning, like a very loving new beginning, but it had to do with Eric actually. Like there was something about Eric making a decision or they waiting for Eric to make a decision and then finally like moving on. I trusted that he would come back because the members often mentioned him. If he were to leave, I think the company would have told to shut up about him. Yeah, but I know. But there's something that I cannot understand. That it's the same that I rant all the time. Like, what happened to Eric? Really? Because they said that it was a health issue. I haven't been at Joby for a while, but I observe Eric, and I think in my perception that Eric is a very healthy guy. That and also in a sort of like probably he's a bit sensitive. I think that I observed of that he's emotional. He's a very emotional guy, but also he's very driven. He's very ambitious. So for him to get into hiatus, like something happened in there, and like the company never said exactly what was it, because 7 months of hiatus, like something happened that affected him. So and to affect him, like I don't know, guys. Maybe when he comes back, we can do an update reading for him to see what the cards have to say about him. But mm, yes, this whole thing is very mysterious. Didn't the company say it was both mental and physical health? Or was it the fans who assumed that? Maybe he got COVID complications. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I just, I don't know. Yes, but I think Parvati, I don't know, maybe I read wrong, but I think that they said health issues, like because of health. but they didn't like specify. You know, and usually they do send like, I don't know why, but like in other statements, they usually they it's not like the in the statements they release, they talk about every detail like why the idol is on hiatus, but they sort of like have like a narrative that lets you know like why and because, and you know, and in this case it was very confusing. I don't know if the people that wrote this statement was, I don't know. Yes, it was after the flu. It definitely has something to do with people's response to him getting COVID first and other members getting it, but I agree there's something sinister with the company behind the scenes. If it really was a health issue, I'm glad that they let him rest and recover. Many idols have to work through their illnesses. Long COVID can be bad. Yeah, because actually, Q, Changbin, he got COVID while they were on a concert, and he like, I mean, he came back after he recovered of COVID, and he almost like fainted on stage. You can definitely sense how it had do some damage to his body strength, to his ability to move, or to his physical responses. And it was very sad and unfortunate to see that. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I have like, I'm sure there's something else, but I, you know, like some of you say, like, let's not speculate. But you know, I had expressed myself when it comes to this. When it comes to Eric, when it comes to his hiatus, I normally don't get suspicious about hiatus, but I don't know why I think that something happened. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Like, that's why it's a personal perception. That's all. It has nothing to do with tarot, nor astrology, nor anything. But I just have like sort of. I feel a bit weird about it. I don't know. Yeah. Brain fog from long COVID is also terrible. Mm. Okay, guys, let's talk about, because I let's talk about the Virgo season. Like, let's talk about the Virgo idols. And when I say this, I don't mean it just like the Virgo Sun idols. I mean it like we have a lot of idols that have a strong Virgo placements, especially in their moon sign, their Venus, and their Mars. So that's why I was thinking that it's interesting to talk about the Virgo season and the idol, because it's not a coincidence that you do have a lot of Virgo placements, idols, because actually this placement is what allows you to be so methodic and so um also very humble and hardworking when it comes to being a better version of yourself, and actually like improving and being a perfectionist and always working on yourself. You know, it's not like you achieve a sort of level of perfection and then you are perfect. No, because I think that probably being an idol is something that they, at least when you start, you have to work on certain parts of yourself. So I brought my astrological cards to show you the card of the Virgo archetype, that is the Virgin. So if you see this, you see that this is a very immaculate sort of person, very clean, very bright, very perfect, like very transparent, but also very well like balanced. And I think that this has to do also with the idol, being an idol. I think that whenever we we see an idol on camera, or we see them in a public place, they sort of have to emulate this archetype, this archetype of, like, yes, I'm soft, I am positive, I am bright, I am a bit virginal. This is something that I think that is very interesting, because um when we talk about some people raving their idols, there's something about, that there are moments where people want to perceive their idols as virgins, in the sense that, or claiming, or having this sort of like idea that the idol is innocent, and that the idol is like virginal, and that they never had encountered an opposite sex, or that they are shy around opposite sex. But when they have to sexualize the idol for their entertainment, they do it. But I think that this has to do with the archetype of the virgin, or the idol, that since you are so immaculate and you are so white, like dressing in white. That's why I wore a white shirt to honor the Virgo season. When you are in white, when you are in this sort of very bright um, and very pure image, the audience can imprint, or can put the attributes on you, because you are like this sort of blank space. You are sort of this white canvas where people can draw their own I'm sorry can draw their own interpretations, and their own desires on you. But at the same time, there's this level that you are so perfect, or you are so idealized, that you are unattainable, that you are at this sort of level of, yes, you can watch me all you want, and we can flirt, and we can have a sort of like like interaction, but you will never get to me, because I am immaculate, and um I am different. I am out of your league. I am perfect. I am the image of perfection. I am the image of something unattainable. This is why Virgo is also like very perfectionist, and at the same time, in the search of that need for perfection, they always are emotionally unavailable. They are not emotionally open, because in their search for perfection, they are always thinking about, you know oh, I'm not good enough. Someday I will be better, or this person that I am with um is not good enough for me. I have to find someone perfect. And or my ideal job is that, always like thinking that on the outside, or on the horizon, there's something better, there's something perfect. And in that illusion of perfection, they lose themselves. They lose the ability to enjoy the now, to enjoy everything that they had worked so hard. Because there's always like a new objective, there's always something, some more details to work on. So this is why sometimes Virgo nature is very nervous. It makes the person very nervous, very like hyperactive, very like overthinking, because they're always reviewing their past actions. They're always thinking like, oh, I should be better, I shouldn't be like this, I have to improve in this, you know. So while they are obsessing over these small details, they are not being able to stay in the now and enjoy what they have now, because they are always pressuring themselves to achieve something better, to achieve perfection. And perfection doesn't exist. The idea of perfection is an illusion. So I think that there's a lot of learning inside of, like, for example, if we think about people falling in love with an idol, you know, and comparing an idol with, I don't know, someone that they met in real life. Of course, that a real life boyfriend or partner is not going to be like the idol like you see in the MVs, because, you know, like I mentioned the other day, you know, if I hypothetically, in a very Delulu land, if I would date Stray Kids Lino or NCT 127 Utah, do you think I would get the idol if I dated these guys? I get the idol that I see on the MV or on the stage? No, I wouldn't. I would get the regular guy behind the idol, because I wouldn't be dating the idol, I would be dating the person. So sometimes when some people fall in love with an idol, it means that you have probably very high standards of what a boyfriend should be, but you have no idea that actually in reality relationships are complex and sometimes people are not perfect. Actually, we all have a lot of flaws, and it's supposed to be like that, because in a relationship you are supposed to make each other better, but not in a sense of like, oh, when I get a boyfriend material that is like the idol that I see on TV, I'm going to be happy. No, sometimes in relationships you do have to, I wouldn't say settle, but do have to open your eyes wide to the reality that sometimes when you are in a relationship with someone, there are some challenges and there are some people that are not probably the perfect pair for you, but there are also some lessons about that. I'm going to read you guys because I know that you have been typing. Um, it helps to maintain the routine that they have with opposite sign in Sun Moon. I find the Virgo archetype being the Virgin women so funny because Virgos in real life are such a messy people. Yes, they are actually very messy. I know about that. I think Woon Young is a Virgo. Korean culture wants their celebrities to be proper. It's different from their West. Yes. What does this remind me? The fans see him as a pure and innocent. Oh, JK, yes. JK. You mean BTS JK? Makes me think of Hyunjae. He's great at everything he does. Hyunjae was born 12 days after JK. They have some similarities. GOT7 has so many Virgos. Mark, Hyunjae, Jingyun, Twice Nayeon. Perfection is impossible. It's actually boring, I think. Yeah, Virgos are not that well liked though. People don't like their overcritical nature. Yeah, yeah. I agree, Spirit. Actually, I think that that's why I always tell my my friends that their biases are Virgo, and they are always like, oh, I would date. He's my husband. He's my boyfriend. He's, you know, my lover, whatever. And I'm like, oh, you never dated a Virgo, right? Because actually, yes, they have them. Um, they have, you know, the how can I say this, the visual harmony, you know. I think that since I dated Virgo people, I can say that what was the most attractive for me is how clean they are. They look really good. They are very, I wouldn't say like good looking people, but they manage to look their best, and they are very like, on the exterior they look very organized, but once you get to know them and they start talking and speaking their truth, their mind, how they really think, and they are very opinionated, and when you live with them, they are not that organized, and they are not that clean, and they are not that loving, and they are not that sort of gentleman that they probably you saw at the first date or the second date or the third date. And sometimes you do have to have like a strong personality to also put them in their places when it comes to being critical, because I had these sort of like arguments with Virgo partners, like in a sense that I am a Capricorn. Like I understand Virgo nature. I also strive to be better version of myself, but I think that if you love me, you're supposed to tell me. I value your opinion. I value the criticism. Like I take it as a practical criticism, constructive criticism, but nevertheless, like, please speak to me with respect. Because if you want to sound smart, and if you want to sound, I don't know, like ironic, and if you think that that's funny, and if you think that making fun of me is going to help me to be a better version of myself, you're wrong. Because I have feelings, I get offended, and yes, I understand that probably you want me to be better, but there are certain ways of helping people to be better. Criticism is not one of them, especially if you claim that you do this from a place of love. Like, for me, that's why I also have fights with Gemini people, because Gemini sometimes they do hide behind all this. Oh, I'm so funny, I'm so witty. Yes, you are, but you also can be really mean. So it, like, tell me what you think, but say it from a very like constructive way and be respectful, because I have feelings, and I would not tolerate disrespectfulness. Bam Bam was asked to rank the weird ones. He got 7. On all the free Virgos were the last 3. Reminds me of when Infinite said Virgo Magna Songo is completely different from the innocent image fans have of him. Yes, they are very perverts, actually, Virgo people. I'm sorry, not Virgo people, Virgo guys, especially. A lot of my biases are Virgo Sun or Moon. I am a Virgo. I think I like them because they are relatable in some way. Yes, I'm sure, Fluffy. Yeah. As a Virgo rising and Venus, I agree. Mm, yes, probably yes, you do mirror a lot of them. And Virgos are not perfect at all, so they have no rights to be nitpicky. Yeah, Fluffy, that's why I think that it does piss me off, that part, because they are not perfect themselves. So why are you pointing out my defects, when you are not working on yourself? Or if you are working, like okay, it's your own process. If you are a better person, like, okay, I congratulate you, but don't try to impose this sort of like level of what's, according to your perception, what's perfection or not. Like, I choose, what I love about Virgo is that I usually do listen to Virgo criticism, because they do have the ability to be very observant, they are very spot on about a lot of things, and a lot of their reasoning is very, very true. So I do learn a lot from them, but I often find myself like a Capricorn that I am, and like, since I'm ruled by Saturn, I tend to be a sort of teacher to them, like in sort of that I put some restrictions to their speech. or the way they deliver an opinion. Like, I get it, I take your opinion, I appreciate your point of view, but please manage the way you say the things, because what you say have consequences. Since you are so good at observing, analyzing, and you have all the data on your head, okay, great. But you also have to work on your communication skills. Like, you have to see that in front of you, you can have someone that is very sensitive, that is very susceptible to criticism. So if you want to help that person to be better, you need to be better at releasing the message, like deliver the message in the nicest way. Like, there's no need to be picky, there's no need to be patronizing. I know virgos that have done crazy things, given me Scorpio. Yeah, they do have some crazy fantasies. Yes, they do. They do. Especially the ones that do have some Scorpio placement in there, like they do have some kinky things that they want to try. But Virgo idols, poor souls, put so much stress on themselves. I don't think I've seen this level of overthinking. Yeah, but it's just that when they overthink, they are very grumpy. They are very annoyed on themselves. They are very frustrated on themselves. And when they are frustrated with themselves because they are not getting what they want, they start spreading that negativity on others. So they definitely need to work on that, because actually what it does is that they are so annoyed that they are so annoying for everyone around them. So sometimes they are left alone, or they lose friendships, or they lose people, because they don't realize that their energy is too dense, because it's not comfortable, and it's not sexy, and it's not sweet, and it's not romantic to have a partner that is always pointing out that, I don't know, that you have a bad hair day, that, I don't know, you are getting fat, or that you didn't have your makeup on, so you look awful, and that, I don't know, that you don't look good in that outfit, and that, and a lot of more of criticisms, that you are like, okay, you are so good at seeing what I'm lacking, but you are not good at recognizing what I am good at, so yeah. Yes, you either accept someone as they are, or you just leave them alone, is what I think. Virgos in general are not leaders, but they make good followers. Yes, as a Capricorn moon, I agree with you that respect comes before criticism. Yes, Fluffy. Yes. Like, I think that, and because I had friends, for example, moon in Virgo people that are my friends, and they often have like, they often have like they lose friends all of a sudden, and they end up alone, and they always come to me for advice, to ask me like, oh, why do you think that is that? Oh, this person blocked me, this person is, and I just spoke my mind, and I just told them what I thought, and they blocked me, and they are not my friends anymore. And it's like, of course, uh not all Virgo placements or Virgo people are guilty of someone's decision, because some people are just childish, and that's it. But I often remind them that they can be really harsh with the people that they love. And that sometimes we can laugh about a comment that they make, or a very funny or witty comment that they make, but sometimes it hurts us. So it depends on the moment, the timing. Sometimes when a Virgo tells you something, you can really use that, and being like, okay, thank you, because thanks to your observation, I can be better, I can improve in this. But there are moments where, especially we females, we go through very emotional moments where we are not ready to hear certain things, especially from the people that we think that care about us, and I think that it's okay to give your opinion, but always be respectful, because you know I'm a water moon, so and I am a Scorpio moon, so things when I take things the hard way, like when I don't like something, I usually just keep quiet and retreat. And probably I wouldn't block the person, but I will slowly remove myself from the situation and the bond. And I will not have a dialogue with that person. I will try to spend the less time, the least amount of time with that person, slowly like walking away, because I don't like those people. And I don't think that I should be like this sort of, like I tell you, like this sort of Saturnian kind of father figure, teacher figure, that I be like, oh, I'm going to teach you a lesson. No, like I think that people are what they are. Sometimes when you sometimes actions talk louder than words. So I think that if you lost me, I think that there's information for you, instead of me being like, oh, I'm going to tell you the reasons why I'm no longer your friend. I don't think I should. I don't like to do that. Yes, that's why Venus is debilitated in Virgo, too critical to be loving and romantic. Actually, I love Virgo Venuses. I love Virgo Venuses. Maybe because I'm a Venus in Pisces and I love Virgo Venuses. I love them. I feel so like flattered when they try to be of service, and I'm like, oh, you like me, don't you? And I'm like, I love that love language, when me as an earth sign, especially as a Capricorn, that I always try to solve things from on my own, and I try to be always productive and always being independent and don't ask for others for help. When I meet people that they want to help me, or they want to somehow do something of being of service to me, I feel like I want to cry, guys. Really, really, really. I love Virgo Venuses. I love that about them. I love that about them. It's like I swear, guys, it moves me in a deeper level when someone, without me realizing it, they offer their help to me. I swear that no roses, no amount of gifts and candies and love poems could fit that level of wow. I swear, there's nothing like for me more romantic than someone offering their help to me. I don't know, guys. So glad my Leo sun differentiates me from that. I'm everybody's personal hype man. Yes, you are. Oh, I have Leo Venus, so I'm not shy or compliments, even if I have Virgo sun. Vanessa, can you talk about Virgo placements and the different planets? Smartness is sexy. Yes, it is. It is. It is. Virgo, Venus, and Moon are very service orientated, like Jungi and Kyunso. They always cook for the members and stuff. They are very humble. Oh, yes. And that very quiet and humble. Like you don't have to ask them to do something, they go and do it. And they are like, okay, here it is for you. And I don't know, I just love it. I get so emotional, when I think about that. I think that we should have more people like that. Like in my case, I just love that. As a Virgo Venus, it makes us feel great inside. If we truly love you, renovate your whole house. Oh yes, yes, yes. And that's so. I swear, I dated a guy that was a Virgo Venus, and he was like, but it's the way is how humble they are, because sometimes you do have people that want to help you, and that they are like, okay, let me do this, I will do this for you, I will arrange this for you. But they do this from this sort of like uh omnipotent and very egotistic way of like, okay, I'm doing this for you because I am so great, I am such a generous person, and I'm doing this because I am helping you, so remember I helped you. But Venus Virgo, they are so humble, they do it so quietly. They are not like, oh, look at me, I'm helping you, like, I love that. Yeah, a lot of Virgo have Mars in Virgo, and I actually like do fear. I do fear Mars in Virgo. Yeah, I don't think I could date a Mars in Virgo because, like, no, I think that they overthink. It takes a while for them to make a move, actually, because Mars is the planet of action. So, and Virgo, it's very mental, it's very rational, it's very like overthinking. Like, so, to them to decide to do something, it's going to be a bit chaotic. And also, they're going to be very, like, probably you would have to help them, to do something. Yeah, never been satisfied. Exactly. Yeah, because I feel like in general we attract a lot of people that need help, not in a bad way. Yeah, but in my case, that I have Venus and Mars in Pisces, I also attract the people that are lost, and that they need help. And I learned through the years to not get myself into those connections, because I was always in this sort of place of being other people's healer, and I don't want to be perceived as that, because me as a Capricorn, or me as someone that is always doing their best to somehow manage myself, with myself, and try to resolve my own issues. I feel like sometimes being always there for others, and then you realize that people take you for granted. People take your love of service, and your love language of service. They take it for granted, and they often are very abusive of that. Like, they take, and they never give you back all the effort that you put. So in this sense, I had to learn to somehow see the pattern, like, why am I doing this for this person? Like, am I doing this because I really want to help this person, or because I feel like I have to help them so they can love me? Am I giving this of me because I really think that this person deserves my help, or am I doing this to compensate some, I don't know, like, some uh parts of me that I feel like I'm not loving myself. Probably like having a low self esteem, that you think that in order for people to love you or like you have to get out of your way, go out of your way, and do a lot of things for people that probably don't deserve it. So, you have to be very open about that, like very perceived about that. The Virgo Pisces axis is about service, healing, and sacrifice. Pisces placements really have it hard because people just dump all their worries on them, like they're their diary or something. Yeah. My partner is a Pisces Venus and I see it. I feel like Pisces Venus are kind of like chameleons and tend to their partner first about all, and I feel bad because they really can be taken advantage of. Yes, I have to work a lot on that, Kuromi, actually. I had to work a lot of them because my Capricorn sun and rising and my Scorpio moon would actually despise me for being so adaptable to the other person. It's as if as every time that I fell in love, or I wouldn't say fell in love, but I would get infatuated with someone, I would transform myself into what that person wanted out of me. So I always sensed that shift in my persona, and I always was very upset with me because I was like, why can't you like show yourself for who you really are? Like, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to shift like that in order for someone to like you or in order for someone to notice you? I never been like someone that I don't like to be the center of attention. Like I'm very reserved, but once I like someone, and I think that this is very Pluto energy, this is very Moon in Scorpio. Once I like someone, I it's not that I obsessed with that person, but I cannot take my eyes off that person. So probably if I see them every day, like I tend to look at them a lot. I tend to look for them, like not go to them, but I am always like like with my radar. Um and so if I can help them or if I can assist them, I'm always like there. um but then at the end of the day, I felt a bit like awkward because I was like, that's not me. um Actually, that's not me. Actually, I think that um but it's part of having Pisces energy. I think I have a love-hate relationship with the Pisces energy because I always, the people of Pisces sun that I met had always been very weak or considered very weak. So I think that having two very strong planets in Pisces, I was like in denial. I was like, oh, that's not me. I am very fixed. I am very Capricorn. I am very Scorpionic kind of way. But yeah, when it comes to Venus and Mars, when it comes to love, when it comes to decisions, I am a romantic at heart. And I can actually, if I love someone, I can be very changeable. I am a romantic at heart, like but yes, I noticed that I have to be very careful about who I attract. Channeling that fixed moon is a must because mutable placements are so adaptable and it doesn't always turn out well for them. Yes, exactly, Kurami. Exactly. Like I even know it. Like that's why I think that for a while I was really angry for my with myself for a lot of things that happened in my relationship that probably for others it would be like, yeah, I was in a toxic relationship, yeah, I moved on, whatever. But in my case, I think that my Scorpio moon and probably my very responsible Capricorn energy was very harsh on me in the sense that they wouldn't let me forget all the things that I let happen, or all the things that happened in my relationship that I somehow knew how it was going to end and what the ending was going to be like. And I think that there are some aspects of my fixed like side that wouldn't forgive myself for all the things that I just let happen that I should have been a bit more proactive and been like, okay, we're done, or like, let's not continue with this because I don't see the meaning behind of this. I'm not happy, or I'm not content with how things are going. But oh well, the relationships are 50 and 50%, and the manipulation is always going both ways. Like, I cannot say that, that and this is something that I think that it's very interesting, because since I'm a moon in Scorpio, I had always been very controlling, and actually I'm very dominant, and I'm very bossy with my significant other. But I met Scorpio females and that are my friends, and they, even though Scorpio sometimes it's very um somehow, they people think that a Scorpio is fearless, and a Scorpio is tough, and a Scorpio is a badass, and a Scorpio is a bad bitch. And actually, a Scorpio, some people, they have awful dating histories. They have awful relationships, and they often are very submissive in their relationships, because a Scorpio is, it's about power, yeah, but it's also, sometimes they get into relationships where they get dominated as well, and because they feel so much, and because they get so obsessed, and because they want to, to keep until the end, they sometimes end up in very toxic relationships where they are stuck with that person, and then they cannot let go, and they say, okay, I'm going to finish this relationship, and then they go back with that person. So sometimes Scorpio people are very, like, powerful in a lot of areas of their lives, but when it comes to relationships, they are very soft in relationships, and they get into situations where they are manipulated as well. So, the Scorpio Capricorn parts of you want you to keep your yes, dignity, individuality. Yes, exactly, Fluffy. Yeah, I think that you nailed it, definitely. I think that that's why, after all these years, I think, like, I um I despise myself. I was like, how did you allow this to happen? How did you put up with this for so many years? Like, and it wasn't like, I'm not going to tell you details, but it wasn't like, that I was in a relationship where I was cheated on, or that there were like abusive parts, but there was a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of manipulations, and a lot of things coming from my ex boyfriend or partner, that he wasn't going to change a few things about himself. He would always promise me that he would change them, and I would always give in, and it was hard, but I was like, okay, because of the stability of our relationship, and because, we thought that we were for each other, and okay, yes, we would try to make it work, and I would always get the same results, and in my heart, I always felt like he was always disappointing me, and I think that in this case, when you are in a relationship that somehow doesn't bring you joy, or that you think that that person is not, like, helping the relationship, or is not doing what they have to do in order to stay with you, like, you should review what's your plan on this. What are you planning to do on this? Like, be a bit more cold and rational, and think like, okay, I want this in my relationship. Are we moving forward or not? The Scorpios are so intense and sensitivity, they want to become one with their partner. They can lose themselves in relationships, but from what I've seen, they reclaim their power eventually. Yeah, yeah. I love Scorpio Venuses, to be honest. I've decided I need to experience my life with one at least as a Virgo Venus. I never dated a Scorpio Venus. I would love to. I would love to. I never dated. I dated a lot of Libra Venus people. I guess it makes sense because they do match a bit with my Pisces Venus, you know. Um, but yes, I would love to. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that Scorpio, a lot of our favorite Virgo idols have Scorpio Venuses. For example, Hyunjae, the voice Hyunjae, he does have a Scorpio and Mars, Mars and Venus in Scorpio. So he definitely must be, you know, and this is something that I sense in him because he's always the best, but his body language is so powerful. Like, you know, sometimes it does it does happen to me that I think that Hyunjae is beautiful. Yeah, he has very beautiful features, but he's too goofy for me. This is something that whenever I meet Virgo males, they I don't like the funny ones. You know that you have two archetypes of Virgo. You have like the serious one, and then you have the more youthful kind of joker kind of, and you have the shy one. And in the case of Hyunjae, he's the goofy one, definitely, with that moon in Aquarius of him. So I'm like, he could be so annoying. Like he looks so, you know, the person that he would always make fun of you or he would always laugh at you. So I always like, I'm not attracted to Hyunjae's personality. I don't like his like, I don't know, I just don't find the deepness in him. But then I remember that his Venus and Mars are in Scorpio, so I'm like, oh, he has a hidden gem in there, in the sense that probably he's very supportive and loyal with the people that he loves, and that he shows that in very intimate occasions. But yeah, I love that about him. Yeah, Hyunja is so hot. The Scorpio Mars is visible. Oh yeah, Fluffy. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. I know. And also, I think that someone said that his rising is in Aries. So yeah, he does give me very masculine. He has, and he has a strong body frame that is not very Virgo like, you know, because actually Virgo guys, they tend to be very slim and almost like very, I wouldn't say fragile looking because they are not fragile, but they are very tall, very slim, and very, you know, they remind me of the Virgin a bit because they do look like angelical, like a bit like feminine kind of feature, but Hyunjae, it's very masculine for me. Do you know Crystal, Vanessa? You love her. Um, yeah, you know, I love her because I seen her. I love the way she looks. This, she is beautiful. The thing that don't I don't like is her Gemini moon. I think that her Gemini moon is the thing that probably I'm like, oh, but she is the Scorpio all the way. I love her attitude, and I think that I love Jenny, you know, particularly because Jenny is my astrological twin. But I think that a lot of people would compare the both of them since both dated Kai. That they both had this sort of the same look of the bad bitch, you know, and I think that there's no comparison. Actually, I think that you cannot compare Crystal's um I don't know. There's something about Crystal's attitude and body language that is much more powerful than Jenny. And I'm not saying that Jenny is not powerful. It's just that they are two different forces. They can have similarities in their style, but I think that these are two different styles. I think that Crystal is much more magnetic. Please, Hyuncha is so annoying, but I love him so much. Yes, he's goofy. I love him though. Sanjay said he often talks with him. He must have. Yes, his Aries rising makes him cocky, and it's funny to me that he does not fear anything. Yeah. Yes, Virgo men can tend to look kind of corny. Yes. What about Joy? I often forget Joy is a Virgo. I swear. I swear. I think she is a Taurus. And I know that it's because her moon in Taurus is very present. But I see her and I think that, oh, she is a Taurus sun. I often forget her Virgo sun. Often. Very often. She's gorgeous. Kai dated a Scorpio sun and moon. Interesting. Yeah. I actually thought Crystal would be more reserved because of her Scorpio nature. I was surprised to see Mingsu was more professional than her even. Yeah, she knows all the tea, I'm sure. He definitely has depths. I just don't think he's the most emotional person ever, but I don't doubt he's rational. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's something that probably annoys me about because I have a lot of like water placements, so there's something that annoys me how he can be so detached about things. I'm so emotional that I think I would get all the time like triggered for everything that he does. Or if he laughs at me, I would be upset at him, and I would try to revenge him or something like that, or to pick a fight on him or something like that, to argue with him about something. I think that I would argue with Hyunjae all the time, every day. And that's very interesting because actually, I Eric the Magnet is also um my astrological twin, and but he adores Hyunjae. He adores Hyunjae. But I understand it's because they're both males, so definitely, there's correspondence in there. They are teammates, But me as a female, I think that I would like get into a love hate relationship with Hyunjae because I just every time he would try to make fun of me, I would get offended and I would try to get back at him, like and not talk to him, and when I talk to him being really like harsh on him, like yeah, I would constantly argue with him Jai all the time. Probably he's tired of being shipped with Crystal. She seems friendly with him. I was surprised. Oh yeah. Eric and his Jupiter influence can't help but love Hyunjae. Eric is a hidden such to me. I think I said this before. Well, in this sense, Kuromi, that's why I think that Eric is the kind of Capricorn that does remind me more. I identify more with the Capricorn Eric than the Jujon Capricorn, for example. Even though Jujon's birthday is the same day as me. Like I share birthdays 19 years because I'm older than Jujon. But we have the our birthdays on January the 15th. But I relate more with Eric kind of Capricorn because I am more outgoing than the regular Capricorn. And I'm very smiley. I know I don't smile it often here, but when I meet people in real life, I'm very smiley. Like, when I get serious only when I'm paying attention to something. But even though I do have very strong placements, I'm a double Capricorn and I have like a Scorpio moon and Pluto. So I am very intense, but when I first meet people, like in the first, I have such Jupiter in the first house, so I'm very friendly. I actually I like to make people feel welcome. I like to like greet them with a smile. I'm very welcoming. I like to meet new people. I'm very expansive in that sense. And I met other Capricorns that are a bit more like on the defensive about meeting new people. I think Hyunjae has empathy. He has Moon conjunct Neptune, but doesn't express it. I noticed he often seems to be the one who sees when someone isn't well on a stage and gives discreet comfort. Yes, he is of service, definitely. Yes. Jujon is such a textbook Capricorn to me. He's a textbook Capricorn. Yes, but his aqua influencing his Aries Saturn is very apparent. His Leo moon too. Yeah, the thing that probably I would say that Jujon does represent me is that sometimes I'm slow for things as well, especially for things that are obvious. I suck at games. I always lose. um in pictures I always stand straight. You know how they always make fun of Jujon body language or body posture, because in pictures or in camera he always stands like this, very straight. And actually I do that in pictures as well. When someone wants to take a picture of me, like in a group, I always stand really straight, as if I was like, when you had your pictures taken for a school, for the school new yearbook. I went to a private school, so with the uniforms and everything. So I always had this very formal way of standing. I didn't realize that there was a thing until I saw it from Jujon. And I also, like, I know a lot of people make fun of Jujon having big hands. I have big hands as well, and this is my Jupiter, like, I have huge hands. And I even have my nails shorter now, but I have a very huge hands, and I don't know why, because I'm very short actually. Also, he had a lot of Neptunian Pisces influence. When you look closely at his chart and eighth house moon, he has a lot of depths and can never figure him out. Jojon is hilarious. He's like the most handsome, striking man when you first see him on stage, and then he's just a cute, big, awkward guy. I love him. Yes, exactly, exactly, Fluffy. That's one of the things that actually does surprise me about Jojon. How when I saw him, like, because you cannot help but to notice him because he's the center. So he always plays this very royal, this he's the king. He's a great actor, like, in all his parts he's very good at giving this very free, fierce attitude on stage. So you are like, oh, this guy is so handsome, so perfect, and he has this very like cocky attitude, but in the way of like, oh, I'm perfect and I know it, or I'm sexy and I know it. And so you are a bit intimidated by him. You are like, wow, this guy is too handsome. But then when you see him, like, when I started watching more content and I started watching him like being himself, I realized how different he is, and how funny he is, and how cute he is. And actually, yes, he's really awkward. Yes, and very humble. And I love how he always is very welcoming when he meets new people. Very humble, despite of him being really handsome. And at 12th house Mercury, I feel like there's so much going on in his little head. I wish I could study his brain. Oh, I have Mercury in the 12th house as well. There's an inside joke among Bon Bebe that Min Hyuk Slap could send you flying to another room. He has large hands. Yeah, probably. Jujun is so unique, honestly. There's no one like him. Yes, Jujun is like I don't know. You just want. I know that I often talk how we shouldn't baby our idols, but and I'm not saying that Jujon is a baby, but he seems naive in certain, like not naive of not having life experience. I'm seeing like probably things that for some idols that are really fast like this, for him is he's like, he's like, oh, in his face, in yeah, he's like, I love when he does this, when he's so when you tell him something and the idea hits him, like, and he just discovers or realizes something. He's like, and it's so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute. I first saw him at Mama 2020. He had his solo part with the front, so it was impossible not to notice him. And I was like, wow, he gave me K vibes. And now that I know him better, I love him even more. He has that side look, I'm proud of being a Capricorn because of him. Jujon, it's amazing. Jujon, it's he's a king. He definitely pays tribute to the moon in Leo. He definitely does. He definitely does. So talking about Virgo, I also want to show you the card of that this card represents the houses in astrology. So here we have the sixth house, that is the house of Virgo. And in this house we have, as you see, this is like a doctor's office, where you go to get your checkups. So this also shows the importance of the sixth house, is that how you take care of your health and also of the routines and everything that you have to do in order to be healthy and in order to follow those routines to be at a better state. So this also reminds me a lot about how idols, I had watched a few episodes of idols getting their checkups, like going to the doctor's office in groups, to get their ear checkups or something like that, to see how they're doing with their physical health. So I think that this actually reminds me a lot of that part of being an idol. It also has to do with checking up your health. And I think that this is the idols, or to be an idol, you do have a lot of like schedules that you have to go through. You have a lot of routines. Like, it's not just practicing all day, it's also taking care of your health and getting checkups, um because they do spend a lot of physical like energy, so they have to get this to somehow being able to perform always. It's just that probably for us, sometimes for us fans, we notice that sometimes idols, even though they get their checkups and they get like their doctor's appointments and everything, and some of them go to the doctor when they feel unwell or when they have a sort of like injury and stuff. And but we also have to remember that it's, at least from the perspective of the fans and of the audience, it's not just enough taking them to see the doctor to see how they're doing physically. It's also important to, to also get mental health, you know, because it's not just about, working on being, having like a stronger body or a healthier body. It also talks about the mental health part, that probably, since we are talking about the sixth house, that is the house of Virgo, for Virgo to go to the doctor, it's like a sort of like love language. I don't know, they just love to go to the doctor and get their checkups and everything, but sometimes um, they take good care of their bodies, but they often forget about the emotional part and the psychological part. That this is very Scorpio, probably is very It also is the spiritual part, that is an emotional part that has to do with Pisces, the water elements. It's like they put a lot of emphasis on getting, like, medical records, and being very routinary, and following the guidelines of the doctors to be better, but they often forget that their mind and their heart also need some healing. So, hi Mariana. Yeah, eating vitamins and stuff too. Forget relatable. When I see idol charts, I just marvel how not relatable some idols are to me. Like, you see the focus, drive, and passion for the first few placements themselves. Mm, mm. Yeah, it's just that Virgo guys, Virgo people, females and males, they often get a bit like obsessed with going to the doctor, and actually they do have like some symptoms that do appear because either they are feeling nervous or they are very stressed, and they like manifest this through body symptoms. For example, they get a lot of stomach aches, a lot of stomach aches, especially because they sort of like, um I don't know, the emotions that they do not process, or that they want to like somehow like not uh assume that it's there. The everything, the anger, the frustration, everything goes to the stomach. Virgo does rule the stomach, the intestines part of the body, so they often get stomach aches when they are under a lot of stress. Mm. I will go to the doctor too. I just don't have money. Plus, they overcharge so much. Yes, me too. I think about, and in my case, this is very Capricorn. I actually don't go that often to the doctor because I have to work. So, so in the sense, I'm guilty. Uh, yes. Whenever they tell you that they are hurting in their stomach, it's because they are like going for something. They just don't know how to process it. I think Wonyo's desire to be perfect as an idol gives her that fake vibe. Yeah, I don't think it's her desire. I think that it's everyone's desire in that industry. To have this sort of baby-like face, this sort of, like I was talking with the girls earlier. The virginal image, the Virgo image, to be white, to be immaculate, to be perfect, to be flawless, to be virginal, and to look very like unattainable. I think that um there's something about the society as well, that they praise these things, and they sort of promote that they should have these baby like features, and that they should do all this ageo, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but these very cutesy ways to be baby like, and I think that there's something that they should like, maybe for them it's entertaining, but for some of us it's like, well, they are very grown people, but um yeah. I have them so much, but I've been trying to manage my emotions better, and it has improved. See, And something that works really well for Virgo or Virgo placements is to not to drink chamomile tea. Chamomile tea really, like, is really good when you are that nervous. When something bad or out of ordinary is happening, the first thing hurting is my stomach and chest. Yeah. Chest. Oh, please, not the chest. Please control yourself. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks it's okay to fake it. I actually don't mind if an idol creates a persona for work as long as they wish to. Yes, because actually it's part of their role as well. Um, there's like a very like weird dynamic between the people that want to have these sort of immaculate idols, or they expect the idol to be relatable, like very like regular person, but then when they become comfortable and show them the true self, the audience is always reminding them that, oh, you shouldn't be like this. Like, it's okay, we want you to be relatable but not too relatable, so please behave. So it's very confusing. I don't know. I think I wouldn't make it as an idol because I don't understand the guidelines. I don't understand what you want out of me. You want me to be perfect, or no, you don't want me to be relatable. You want me to show you. And can I tell you something? Like, what's going on? Because I noticed this pattern, and I'm like, why do you do that? In the sense that I've seen a lot of groups having these sort of moments on camera where they cry, or where they talk about their struggles, or they reflect about their past experiences and they cry. And if they are in this sort of dinner reunion kind of atmosphere and they cry. Like, I think that the first instance that I recalled of this year was with the BTS Festa, where RM joked, and he expressed how he was so frustrated with, disappointed, like trying to please people, but at the same time being really tired, and having this very humane conflict with himself. I think that ever since this incident happened in Festa, I noticed that there are a few groups that are sort of having these scenes as well, where one of them starts crying, or they get emotional because they start talking about certain things, and it's like I understand, but I'm like, I don't know, guys. I just, I don't know. Uh, Bunya is still young. She may release it later at some point in her career. What are their current energy? Yeah, I don't blame Bunya for pushing it too far when it comes to trying to be perfect in the industry. She's very young. I just hope she's okay. I think very few people appreciate and value your truth, and new bodies on my as well fake it. Yeah, you can tell it's Libra you're talking right. Yeah, they have been doing that for years. Oh, yeah, I'm a Libra. I saw NCT 127 reacted to the detail, was very upset with getting less screen time. This always happens with him. You can see this face very disappointed. I don't know with Tell. With him and his Mars in Taurus, he always has this face, this very blank expression, like, unbothered kind of. I don't know. I think you I think you just noticed it after that festa happened. Ah, okay. Okay, Samara. They need to create the right dramatics to get people attention. That's the point of being entertainer. Yeah, yeah, you're true. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. Yeah, idols crying, like you said, becomes more common, and you can tell they are not faking it. Yeah, it just kind of makes you realize how hard the job is. I would fake it too for a check. In Festa video, some members were unbothered. I think when you get a lot of necessary hate, but it's just got on my nerves. Oh my god. Oh my. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know what to think of that actually. Wait, my cat is mewing right now because it's her lunchtime. So wait a second. Um, yeah, my cat is her lunchtime. Yeah. Um, the only person I feel like really was literally crying like that was Felix. Like he was booing. He was like, "Baby, who hurt you?" I was like, "Baby, who hurt you?" Sometimes I do feel like I just fake crying whenever they see the fans. A lot of people may not like the perfect image, but yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's not, you know, it's not like, how can I say this? Oh, because when I watched the BTS Festa, um, I actually did joke myself, like I wanted to cry when I saw when I watched RM's speech. Especially because since we're talking about Virgo season, he was talking about the pressure he put on himself, like thinking he was disappointing the fans or disappointing the people that love them. So this conflict within him was really, I think the way he expressed it and the way he started sobbing, like you can tell that that's not fake, that's a real man crying right there. Because I don't know if this happens to you or some of you guys, but when I start crying, or when I have this very ugly crying moment, just like RM had, where I start talking about something, I get emotional and I joke, and I just, it's awful. And I think that he had this moment, and I felt like um it was a real moment, because it's not crying of happy. I'm sorry, it's not sad crying. It's a crying of, like, I have so many things choked in my throat, literally, that I want to say, but I cannot say it. And I don't know if saying it will help the situation, will add to the situation, but I need to get it off my chest. And somehow it's awful. It's heartbreaking, for you that you are watching it. It's like, my God, this guy is not okay, and I think that is very relatable. I don't know, that's why I say it, like, for me, I would I usually, when I get frustrated with me or with a sort of situation, I break in the same way that RM did, that I start like stating something or saying something that I really feel and think, and all of a sudden I joke on my words and I start crying, and I get upset, and it's awful. Like, it's a very chaotic situation to observe, because you don't know, you're like, are you crying, are you angry, are you sad? Like, it's a mix of emotions, and this happens when you try to, for so many time, to hold all your emotions in, or all your emotional side in, and when it comes out strongly. So and unexpected. So this is why I think that probably for the other members, they all looked very, like, even shocked, because they were like, oh, are you crying? Like, and it's not, like I say, it's not crying, it's It's an unleash of emotions. It can be a bit of frustration, anger. I tend to cry because I get upset, I get angry at things. I don't cry when I'm sad. I cry because I get frustrated when I cannot express myself, or I feel like I cannot express myself. So I break in the most unexpected moments. If I'm an idol, I would carry a bottle of glycerin on stage with me, otherwise I'm not crying. Oh my god. um Imagine don't like to cry in public. Yes, we people that don't like to cry in public, we actually make fools of ourselves crying in the least expected situations, like awful. Like, yeah, you're like, I'm not going to cry in public, and all of a sudden you start crying. It was like so many emotions released. It needed to be said, and I think BTS confirmed what a lot of people were suspecting during that dinner. Yes, yes. Festa video makes me think they were crying for help. RM did say that the industry never allows them to mature. Yeah, that you have to be a machine. You have to be a machine. Either you are very famous or not, you always have to be a machine. I cry when I'm angry too. Yes, it's like a frustration, tears. Did BTS cry or at Festa, or did they just talk out how they were feeling? I don't really react to others crying, but one look at Shonus shedding tears and it feels like a train hit me. I think that they cried because they saw, and it's not cry. Not all of them cried, but they especially JK, and I think that Yoongi and, well, and Hobie and Jimin, they did shed a few tears because of seeing RM so vulnerable. He is the leader after all. And let's not forget RM's astrological placements. Like, he is a Virgo with a moon in Sagittarius, and he is the leader. So often, what happens to me with RM is that, yes, he's very intelligent, but the way of expression and the way he carries himself, besides being a leader, is that he is a very optimistic kind of leader. He is the kind of leader that he represents very well his moon in Sagittarius, in the sense that he's always expansive. He's always like promoting this, like, let's do better, let's be better, let's go to this new horizon together. Like, there's more possibilities to come. We will build better things in the future. Like, we have a vision, we have desire, we will continue. But somehow, uh he never you see that he for example, there are some members that often talk about hardships and how things were difficult for them, but RM always tries to soften the final words to emphasize and remind the fans that they will continue working, that the better days will come, especially with the pandemic and everything. His speech, the way he expresses himself, is to promote his moon in Sagittarius. That is that he often talks from a very optimistic point of view. I noticed that in the way he expresses, as the leader, of course. Um, but for me, I always, when I meet moon in Sagittarius people, I always sense that level of denial. Like how, like, I always, me as a Scorpio moon, or I always listen to them, and I'm like, how long are you going to keep up with the denial? In a sense that I love Sagittarius people. I love Moon Sagittarius people. They are my favorite because they definitely, like, are like cheerleaders. Like Leo. They are always like very positive and very like, okay, like, yes, I know you're having a hard time, but let's make it. Let's do it. Like, yeah, tomorrow is going to be a better day. But sometimes I see them like they get tired of being this sort of like the cheerleader of the zodiac. You know, the ones that always promote positivity and everything is okay and we're going to have fun and we're going to be funny and we're going to laugh and make a lot of jokes. You know, sometimes they do get tired of the role as well and they do get grumpy and they do get negative as well. So, and let's not forget that he's a Virgo. So he is someone that he puts a lot of pressure on himself. He's always all the time overthinking about different ways of making something better. So there's like a duality there. And I think that what we saw in Festa is it was a very frustrated Virgo person. And also I think that it also resonated with his Venus in Scorpio. He does have Venus in Scorpio. So for him, his bond with army, his bond with the fans, his bond, his emotional bond with the people that he cares about is about persisting, being loyal, and and also be raw about the struggles of this relationship. That he's a Venus in Scorpio, so he's like, okay, I'm going through a sort of transformation. Like we had been going through a sort of very transformative period where we are no longer what we used to be. We are still here, but it's like we are going through a transformation. So you need to know this. You need to know that we are going through a rebirth, and it's emotional and it's intense and it's shocking and that it's painful, you know. So I think that that's what I got from his speech, you know, like not everything is purple, you know. There are some things about us, you know, that are breaking, and we are transiting the chaos. There's a chaos inside of me. So since you are part of the people that I love, you need to know that I'm going through a chaos. And Arim had a vision, but he said he had lost it, and that's why he needed time for himself. I have so much respect for him for making that choice in true Sagittarius moon fashion. Mm. I agree, leaders tend to be very guarded with their tears. Makes me think of Jean too. As a Sagittarius, he's the Joker, but he also talked about depression as well. Venus in Scorpio as an artist needs depths in order to be creative. It reminds me of when I read a book said that the society wants to you to be a machine. The way their companies are still making money using them. They don't have to agree on doing everything. The latest scenario of Busan concert. This is why I think that I don't know if I sort of predicted that, but since I have very strong Scorpio placements, you know, sometimes for me it's very, I don't know if my energy is focused to somehow perceived when a transformation is happening inside someone or a group, that I somehow can smell it in the air. And but it's not, a transformation is not the same as a change. A change is something very mechanic. It's something like, okay, we are making a change, we are moving logistics here and there. A transformation is very deep. A transformation is very messy. A transformation is, it makes you feel like you are sort of naked, raw, vulnerable, and it's not pretty. So I think that with BTS, The first sign that I saw that I was like, this is not, something is going on, is with Jimin. With Jimin, when they recorded this online concert where he started crying also out of frustration, like I say, ugly crying, frustration, crying, not emotional, like I'm so happy, I'm crying because I'm happy, I love you. No, it's more like, and he even said it. He joked on his own tears, and he even said it. I don't understand why this is happening. And he talked about, well, his frustration and how the pandemic and everything that they had, they had no audience, they had to readjust, and coming from Jimin, that Jimin is a Libra with a moon in Gemini. He is flexibility, adaptability, like, harmony, like, let's all make it together, like, we will make it and we will be better, and let's adapt and let's have fun, and yes, pretty things here and there. No, but his Venus and his Mars in Scorpio was hitting that fear of death, that fear of what if this is the end to the way we had been communicating with the audience. Where is the audience? I need the audience. I need the audience feedback as an artist. And this is something that probably a lot of idols went through, and it's traumatic. When you go to perform on a stage and there's no one there, like you are like reviewing your life choices, like, who am I doing this for? Like, I worked so hard to be here, like, and where is the audience? What is the warmth of the audience? So it reminds me when I read a book, as a society, yes, the way their companies are still making money. Oh, I read that already. I mean, you have Moon conjunct Pluto, you're the psychic. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's about being psychic. I think that it has to do with understanding that sometimes for people that we are very emotional and that we have everything bottled in inside of us, um, it's we get so guarded about how we really feel about showing our vulnerability, and it never happens in the right time. It always happens in a very unexpected, and it's very awkward, and it's very, like I say, it's very ugly. So this reminds me, this when I sense that this happens to people that have strong Scorpio placements, I relate a lot, or at least I tend to sniff it. I'm like, you're going through a transformation, it's about to hit you, because it had happened to me. I had, whenever I was going through a very transformative moment in my life, I could sort of feel it in the air that something was going to happen, but I would refuse to. I would be like, oh, no, no, everything's going to stay the way it was, because yes, and also I have Jupiter in the first house, so I'm also an optimistic. So I was in denial, and then some things happened that changed my life. Well, the pandemic changed us all. So I think that um it's nice to see that these people that probably have very strong, and we have a lot of idols that have a strong Scorpio placements, go through these transforma the, and I and go through these transformations, and that we can see it, we can witness this, and also take this as a lessons for ourselves. Because when I say ugly crying, it's not because I'm like, oh, your idol looked very awkward and ugly while he was crying. It's not about that, because I do I know it's a phrase, ugly crying, but I think that when you say ugly crying, for me it translates to when it's it's a crying that it represents the rawness and the painful and the chaotic experience of feeling as if something is breaking inside of you, or feeling like something is dying inside of you, or something is um it's a sort of like very uncomfortable feeling, because we all refuse and fear change, even when we are transmuting, and even if they promise us that at the end we will transform into this beautiful butterfly. When we go through the metamorphosis, or when we transform ourselves, it's not pretty. It's not something that we can control. That's why it's called ugly crying, because it's a sort of crying that it it's not like you're crying, but it's like you're gasping for air, and you're looking all like ugly. I don't know, and I think that it's very, it's something that you cannot control. It's like it's like, I don't know, a manantial of a lot of emotions. Oh yeah, he had a hard time speaking. Jimin has the Scorpio placements too. Yeah, and that also, that if you see a Gemini moon struggling with speaking, definitely you can sense that there was other energies working on him that day. Because if you have an air sign having troubles communicating, you know that there's some emotions choking in there, pushing, pushing, and making pushing to get out. And when, because I do the same when I try to avoid crying, but I know that the emotion is about to hit me, so I know I'm going to cry. I observed his body language, and he was like looking sideways, and he was like touching his hair, and he was like this, and he was like this, and I was like, he's going to cry. And because I do the same, I swear, when I know that I'm going to cry because like the emotion is hitting me, like I start like touching my hair, like touching my eyes, like touching, like I end up, I start doing this, it's, I don't know, it's something that it's a body language. I wouldn't say that is ugly. Every transformation makes you grow, and that's beautiful. Yeah, but when you're experiencing it in a very public, like in a very public situations, it's not beautiful for you, and it's not comfortable. You feel very ashamed of yourself, especially when you have a lot of important Scorpio placements. You do not want to show that vulnerability in front of a camera, for example, or in front of a lot of people. um you know Especially because people worry, so they turn the situation on them, instead of being like, okay, like talk to me, like what's going on, like what is going on with you, let me know, like talk to me, express yourself. People just rush to consolate you, or to calm you down, to be like, okay, okay, you don't have to cry, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So they sort of ruin that moment. And some people, when they cry, they do not need to be comforted, they just need to be left. You just have to let them be, because it's their moment to express. But sometimes when people get worried or they try to calm you down or they cry themselves, you worry about the others because you are seeing how it affects them because somehow they end up crying as well. So you automatically also stop yourself from crying because you're like, oh, I'm affecting others, so I should stop. So, and I think that probably they feel the same about the fans. They do not want the fans to get to cry, but sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's part of healing. Yeah. I understand what it feels. I have Moon square Saturn, but now I just accept every emotion or feeling. I don't cry frustration anymore. My frustrations don't my emotions don't control me. Yeah, that's very healthy. Mm. Yeah, imagine an idol going through poverty in front of the whole world. Yeah, exactly, spirit. It mustn't be nice. That's why I have a huge respect for the Magnets of the group because, like I always tell you, they are not the regular people and they will not have regular lives because they had to adapt to a world of adults and taking responsibilities as adults, even though they were children when they debuted. The worst cry is when emotions feel like choking you and all you could do is gasp for air. Yeah, Rim, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about that a scene in the last BTS Festa where RM cried. I was talking about that, about that gasping for air and joking sensation that you have when you are like emotion hits you and you want to express yourself, but all of a sudden you start to cry because it's too much to put into words. It's too much. You feel too much. They really need to set an age bar. I don't want to see any more kids having to skip school and not make friends and slave away in the practice rooms. Yeah, yeah. Okay, guys. Today I'm not going to pull cards because we were talking about astrology. So I'm going to finish this here because I have to go and cook lunch. I have been here for 2 hours, so I'm really happy we could catch up and actually like talk about certain things. And I appreciate that you're here, that you showed up. So yes, guys, I hope that um definitely you enjoy your weekend. And yes, let's enjoy what's left of the Virgo season because we will arrive into the to the prettiest season of all, to Libra season. So, oh, thank you for being here, Spirit. We missed you. So yes, we are going to be entering like Libra season very soon. So yes, let's grab our flowers, all the glamours, all the aesthetic things, and let's make our life more beautiful. And also let love find us always. So gracias, Mariana. So thank you guys for being here. Bye.